Star Trek games are a dime a dozen. They've been around since the early days of the Atari and Vectrex, all the way today, including Super Nintendo outings, and of course, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of PC titles, and that one PlayStation 3 title that we will forget ever happened. But there are a lot of games that tend to be forgotten or lost in the annals of time, especially those of the early days of mobile gaming. Now, I'm not talking about smartphones and iPads and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about actual feature phones that had very little processing power, very little in the way of stores and games and such, basically running on Java and such. And what I'm talking about is when I grew up or was in high school, the Razor phone was the big one. And Star Trek itself had a number of games. One in particular done by Jumbuck, a company that I don't even know if they exist anymore, called Star Trek Birds of Prey. But you don't get a lot of information on these games because if you don't have them on your phone, they kind of don't exist anymore. So let's pull out a phone and let's take a look at Star Trek The Birds of Prey for mobile handhelds. Here we go. The Paramount logo is up. Again, done by Jumbuck Studios. And here is the title screen. Of course, the Star Trek music is playing through there. This is really the only time where music is going through it, because with these old mobile games, they were very light on features. So let's get it started, and I will throw in an audio track of some kind right here. Okay, and we are off with this very cool warp looking effect. Star Trek The Birds of Prey is actually a shoot 'em up game with you in control of the Enterprise. As you can see right here, you have your phasers, which are really cool. You can actually shoot the phaser and shift slightly left or right, and the trail will follow and kind of semi-lock onto a target, so it's not just shoot and miss. Now, this isn't a bullet hell or any kind of stuff like that. Photon torpedoes attack enemies, yes, and your shields recharge if you avoid beacon. So pretty standard stuff with regards to the shoot 'em up, but this is, you have to remember, this is on a mobile phone, not any smartphone. And for the time, it was actually pretty damn impressive here. I'm only going to show you a level or two of this to keep it short, but accessory-wise or extra-wise, there isn't a lot going on because of the platform. With these kind of phones, you couldn't really plug in like headphones, and the speakers were about as good as tin cans. You know, we're not talking about phones that played music. This was before that kind of stuff happened. So there you have a couple little phaser hits here and there, but nothing to write home about. The game itself, though, does have a storyline in it. It kind of has Kirk and company trying to foil a conspiracy by two big races here. As you can see, the Birds of Prey, the Klingons, and the Romulans. So you have two, which kind of makes the title work, as both races used Birds of Prey as their attack ships from way back when they were buddy-buddy. So since you don't have touch controls of any kind or anything like that, you're actually using the keypad on your phone. And for most games, that was extremely limiting and very, very terrible. But for a shoot 'em up or a game like this, it actually works pretty well. You have your 4 key to go left, your 6 key to go right. The 5 key will shoot, and of course, I believe this might vary slightly depending on your handset, because the early days of mobile was a lot like the early days of PC. You really didn't know if a game was going to work 100% or not. Here's the end of the first level, McCoy beaming down. But that's really it. You have left, right, you have up and down. If you use your 7 and 9 keys, you can kind of go at an angle and all that stuff. But 5 shoots your phasers, and I believe on this one, like 3 key shoots the photon torpedo. And as you can see in between, there's little cutscenes with their faces pulled right from the television show. It's actually very, very well done. So here we are, kind of taking off into space. It reminds me a little bit of those StarCraft levels, if you can recall there. So in between here, now we have kind of an asteroid defense kind of thing, avoiding obstacles and stuff, and this can get a little tricky. I am actually, for this video, it's really weird, I'm actually using an old mobile phone emulator because it's nearly impossible to, as you can see, nearly impossible to film a tiny Razer screen, which actually the game is still on. But that means it's a little weird in the controls. Sometimes they tend to lock up, and as you saw a little while ago, I was kind of running into everything. But if you're kind of just taking a look at this, this is not a terrible game. And even if you kind of saw something like this on the iPhone or on an Android, or even kind of on maybe one of the earlier DSs, you wouldn't be that surprised. I mean, the quality is very good. Yes, it is simplistic and there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of depth to it. But at the time, that's not a big deal. When, you know, you'd be lucky if you could find a game at all that wasn't Snake. So here you can kind of see flying through your basic shoot 'em up kind of things, and I am not doing so well on the health. Yeah, like I said, this worked on the Razer phone, this worked on the Nokia, I think the 6600, and that's it. But without those kind of games today, that's really it. You know, you can't find these anywhere, and that's game over. So now we got a black screen, and that's it. Maybe if we're lucky next time, I'll pull out some more levels of this if I can get them going, or maybe I'll try out the other one of their games. Because they had, Jumbuck actually had 2, so we will see. I just kind of wanted to, I was cleaning around up here in the office and I found my handset and I found this on there, and I just wanted to make a quick video. If you want to see more of this or other lost mobile games that people don't know about for other games, because they made a lot of them. They had stuff for X-Men, they had stuff for Splinter Cell, a lot of early Gameloft stuff was kind of like this. So let me know in the comments if you want to see more, and we can get them done. So we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.